Sills, 8 days. 8 days until the start of training camp for the Eagles and many teams. Actually, on Wednesday, the Jets start. Hope all had a great weekend. I know the weather is kind of crazy all across the country. Hot as hell and hot as Hades in the West, Northeast, the rain in Pennsylvania. Man, crazy. I'm telling you, I still blame the Chinese weather balloon. Okay? I don't care what anybody says. The Chinese weather balloon, in my opinion, you know me, a conspiracy guy. I'm going with that balloon, man, because our weather has been crazy. So I guess 4 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to know a little bit about some of these franchise tags. Josh Jacobs with the Raiders, Tony Pollard with the Cowboys, and obviously Saquon Barkley. And by the way, from what we're hearing, the Giants are not budging off of the contract that they've offered. So this is what I would do. If he doesn't take it, I would offer Saquon Barkley a 1-year, $13.5 million deal. I'd make it north of the franchise tag, sign it, and if you don't, I'll fine your ass. You can do what Le'Veon Bell did, throw $9 million into a trash can and light it on fire and never get that money and be a year older at a position nobody gives a shit about in the NFL. The league has the leverage over you. Backup wide receivers make more money than most of the starting running backs in the National Football League. And by the way, I don't think Barkley's handled this poorly. He just plays a position that's getting its face kicked in right now. You know, quite frankly, I'll tell you something. 2 of the most important positions in an offensive huddle have to be the tight end and running back, and they're underpaid. Think about it. Most of the NFL tight ends that are in the game today, when you look at a guy like Travis and you see Travis Kelce, he's not a traditional tight end that blocks when it comes to the run game. He's more used like a wide receiver, but they don't pay him like that. So actually, that position is underpaid. The running back, you got to run the ball. Hey, what was one of the major reasons that the Eagles had troubles last year when it came to closing teams out? What was it? They didn't have an effective running back, okay, that was going to be able to just have a red zone offense to run the clock out. Even though they had a 1,300-yard back, they struggled in closing games out because they would get away from running the ball. The running back position is essential to controlling the clock. Both those positions. Tone, you're right. The Giants don't just have leverage. The league has leverage. Completely right. Everyone running back thinks they're special until the league shows them they're. That's right. The market value. Dude, I'm telling you, you want to hear something? Do you know who got one of the best market value deals in the offseason? Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, of all the players that signed, probably got the best offseason deal of any player in the league. For where the position is right now, $7 million per year, $21 million 3 years. Dude, he got the best contract of anybody in the league at their respective position. He's one of the higher paid guys in the sport now. Think about that. He's one of the highest paid guys in the league. Dude, the NFL is telling you. And Barkley wants to get $14, $15 million. I would never pay that. For a guy who's been constantly hurt, I'd give you a 1-year deal. And then as the trading deadline came, if the Giants weren't doing anything, I would move you to a contender because guess what? I like you. But I would move you to the AFC. Like Buffalo. Okay? That's what the Giants should do. And if he doesn't show up to training camp, fine his ass. Fine him. You can't not sign this deal. You understand? You lose the money and get fined for missing training camp. And I think it's $18,000 a day. Fine him. Hey, if he doesn't want to sign a $13 million 1-year deal, you guys couldn't come to an agreement. And that just tells you that they're going to move on from Barkley. They should move on from Barkley. Dude, that football team needs better corners, better O-line, and a top-flight wideout before they need to pay a running back $14, $15 million. So get this. So the Giants want to be they want to be a little bit better of a version of Tennessee. Is that what you're saying? They want to be a little bit better than what Tennessee is with Derrick Henry. You're not going anywhere. Ringo signed and working with Buddha. Could be a safety. Probably already told him they're going to work him at both positions, 85. I'm not signing Barkley to a contract extension. That just shows you too, man. You hear the people in New York going, the Giants need him. The Giants don't need to pay that much money for a running back who, quite frankly, won't make the season. Dude, he's been hurt every year he's played. Why would you invest that? Here, and I'm going to show you how organizations absolutely trip over themselves. I was just telling Tone this. So let me get this right. DeAndre Hopkins signs with Tennessee for $13-14 million. $6 million less than what A.J. Brown wanted a year ago when he was 24. So they signed a 31-year-old guy who's coming off of an injury for basically $6 million that AJ wanted and got him for the same price. But he's 31, coming off of an injury. Why would you do that? Look, Hopkins took the money. He's not winning shit in Tennessee. They're good. They may win the division. Highly unlikely. The Jags are superior to them. But highly unlikely. And in an AFC, you want to hear something? Tennessee can win 9 games and still be 2 games out of the playoff race. Okay. And by the way, I don't begrudge the guy. He took the money. Okay, he's 31. He's looking at his mortality now. He wants to get as much money as he possibly can. Not a problem. But you're not winning in Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill and whoever they have behind him. What, the kid from Kentucky, I think, is up there now? Or whomever they've had roll in and out of there over the last 5 years. Doesn't really matter. They're not going anywhere until they move off the formula of Derrick Henry. And they can't move off the formula of Derrick Henry. Why? Because they don't have a quarterback that can deliver the goods on Sunday the same way the running back can deliver the goods and at least make them competitive. Henry makes the Tennessee Titans competitive. Ryan Tannehill does not. And that's exactly what Barkley will do. Daniel Jones doesn't make you a championship contender. That team is not a championship contender. Get this. The New York Giants are not a championship contender team, but you're spending almost $50 million on the quarterback, $14 million on the running back, and you're spending $17 on an injured tight end. That is not a championship formula. That's not how you win. You got the majority of your salary cap tied up in 3 guys. You're top heavy in your cap. You know, again, the secret sauce in New England was always this: Brady and a balanced salary cap. The salary cap was always balanced. Everyone took pay cuts and haircuts, including Brady. Brady was never the highest paid player in the history of his career in New England. He didn't start making the giant money till he got to Tampa. Man, you just watch organizations just fart all over themselves. It's absolutely insane. Hey, before we get in, we're going to look at position rooms. This time we're talking coaches for the Philadelphia Eagles and your Week 13 opponent, the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to look at the Niners, but before we do that, I want to hit upon this Embiid thing. And Embiid now wants out. Oh, yeah, by the way, he had a lame-ass effort in cleaning it up. But because he thought he was going to be a big hero with Maverick Carter and sitting out there with all the stupid asses in Los Angeles, he thought he'd play big wheel out there and say that, hey, if I'm not going to win a championship, hey, you know what? If it's not in Philly, it's somewhere else. And he thought he was going to be a big wheel, but now guess what? He's held accountable to it because people in Philadelphia hold you accountable. Nobody else in other stupid-ass cities holds you accountable to that shit. So you got James Harden and you got Embiid saying that they want out. Or at least now he's laying out the yellow brick road for him to get out of here. I'm talking Joel Embiid. I hear some people go like this. You know, I don't blame him. I do. You're the face of the franchise. Is he wrong? No. But why would you do that publicly after you just had a shit showing in Game 7 against the Celtics? The organization has just come off of Ben Simmons, who you bitched about how that whole thing went down over Jimmy Butler. You just blamed all your teammates about how you guys didn't get enough from everyone else. And now all of a sudden, you're sitting here telling, hey, if it's not here, it's somewhere else. It's inappropriate. That's what it is. Even if he's right, he doesn't have the right timing for it. It's timing. Because you know what you do? You validate everything people say about the Sixer process. It sucks. You validate the other side of the aisle when they say they'll never win here. And you validate it. Nick Nurse. Seriously. Nick Nurse. Why did you fire Doc Rivers again? I missed it. It's not the coaches. It's management. And the stupid-ass players they invest in. Man. Get this. As great as Harden and as great as Embiid are, you don't invest in them because they're not championship metal. Okay? They're not championship metal. You don't invest in people like that. Oh, I see. I'm going to take my bat and ball. Hey, by the way, he's not wrong. But now, you just changed your coach. You got a guy Harden who wants out. You just went through the Simmons deal. And now you add on to the fire by throwing more gasoline on it. And you call yourself a leader. And after you won the MVP, you took the rest of the playoffs off. Again, here I am talking about the dumbass Sixers. And the dumbass Sixers validate everything I say about them. It's a loser organization. Don't you wear the black Sixer hat all the time, like you're going to a funeral. Because every time you go to Wells Fargo, you might as well be going to a wake. It's a wake. They have no way in the world of putting a championship mentality together for the Sixers. Give me the Colangelos of the past. At least they got to a finals. Hey, Seal said, how we potentially make the same mistake by paying Hurts because of him having injuries, or is it because the contract is team-friendly? I think it's team-friendly. Ace, it's team-friendly. And there's a lot of ways that the Eagles can get out of that deal if it's not working. Okay? We'll talk more about that here in a minute, okay? So again, listen, the money's high for me, and you paid him too soon. You paid him for 1 year, and his improvement level from year one as a starter to this is all you've paid Jalen Hurts on what you've seen. Year two, he had a sensational year. And that's exactly what I just said. He had a sensational year. He's not had a sensational career. He's not had a sensational couple of years. He's not had a sensational anything but 1 year. Okay? That's it. That's all you're paying for. But you're also paying for this. You're being around the guy every day, and you see what the guy brings to the organization. There is a value to that. Okay? There's a value to that. And to me, personally, I'll tell you the most important thing that I think they're paying Jalen Hurts on. His improvement. And Tone, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but everybody that played in that huddle had a career year playing with Hurts. I mean, there were guys in that huddle that had better years than he did. The two wide receivers, the running back, the tight ends, the offensive line. Jalen didn't have that spectacular of a statistical year when you compare it to the rest of the NFL quarterbacks. Okay? He just didn't. They're pedestrian. 22 touchdowns, 3,700 yards. But when you look at the rest of the huddle, everyone had career years. That speaks volume to him. Okay? Dosett, you could say whatever you want. I'm not ripping him. The objective of a quarterback is to make everybody else around him better. And he did. How many? And you won. You know how rare it is to make everybody in your huddle better and win? We see empty calorie stats in Dallas every year. There were no empty calorie stats in the Philadelphia offense and in that huddle, especially with Jalen Hurts. It's not a rip. It's not a rip. Okay, there was something else that was thrown out there. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN threw this out, and I thought about it. Before we get to the topics here, by the way, Gary Cobb, 4:30 from Fox 29 in Philadelphia, our Monday guest each and every single day. We so appreciate him doing that for us. So Jeremy Fowler was talking to executives in the National Football League, and he was polling the best offensive tackles in the game. One executive who was anonymous, and I hate this, said that Lane Johnson's the most overrated player in the National Football League. And he goes, he plays in an RPO system. It's not really a traditional passing system for you to be able to gauge playing offensive tackle. And he gets the benefit of hiding behind an RPO system. It's not my words. I'm paraphrasing what this executive told Jeremy Fowler. Okay? And I'm going to tell you what I think of it. He said that Lane Johnson's the most overhyped and overrated player in the league. And so much so that Lane even commented, and so did Malata. Okay? The only thing, and there is something to the fact that he plays in a run-dominant offense, but again, got to understand something. You see, here's what makes him great. He's a right tackle that's the best run-blocking lineman in the league, but also one of the top 3 pass-rushing tackles. But he plays right tackle. I'm not looking at it glass half full negative. I'm looking at it positive. Most of your right tackles aren't good pass blockers. They're not good in pass probe. He's exceptional. He's exceptional in it. So when he says that, Lane has turned himself into one of the top 3 pass probe tackles linemen in the National Football League. The best is Trent Williams because he plays the premium left tackle position. And most of your top tackles are the left tackle. Okay? So you're not looking at Lane in exactly what the Eagles do. He fits exactly what they're asking him to do. The RPO run, it's not pass run option. He is dominating because he and Jalen Hurts are taking advantage of the system that they've implemented now. He is so much better than he was 2-3 years ago because of the new offense that they're running. It fits him. It actually fits Jason Kelce too. So this executive is still looking at, well, Jalen Hurts is not a 7-step drop quarterback and Lane plays right tackle. That's fundamentally flawed if you're not watching how the Eagles have revamped this offense into being a run-pass option team. Lane Johnson is the most important lineman on the team because run-pass option. It's true what the guy says. They don't perform in a traditional 7-step drop offense, Lane gets the benefit of that. But that's not what they're doing in Philly. Do you understand? I said this before to Tone, that what Jalen Hurts is doing and what Lane Johnson is doing, they've created a one-of type offense that very rarely do you see, where you've got a guy who's running an offense and it's a one-of. This is why they're trying to do this now in Chicago, and this is why they're trying to do this now in Baltimore. Baltimore wants to change to exactly what the Eagles are doing, and they were proficient enough. There was an MVP year up there. He led the NFL in touchdown passes. I'm talking Lamar Jackson. What exactly was wrong with the offense? They weren't winning enough critical big games. That's why. That's right. Ace. So you got a guy, Ace, that won't put his name to it. Ace, think about that. You got a guy that won't put his name to it? It's really probably nothing then, except a guy just talking shit, and he's probably with the Cowboys. Absolutely. Or somebody who thinks, maybe it's a Niner guy, I don't know, who somebody thinks that they have the best tackle when, quite frankly, Lane Johnson has made himself one of the best pass pro tackles in the game. Okay? Totally. So I thought that was off base. Because, hey, is Lane, could you put Lane in the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line with Joe Burrow? I would want him at left tackle protecting my quarterback's blind side, because my quarterback doesn't run. I need my quarterback's blind side protected. They're not going to run the ball a shitload of times. So you don't really need Lane. I need Lane to pass protect. He is in a system that fits him. So what? You know what that's called? Coaching. An organization figuring out their personnel. I think that's off base. That's off base. He's not overrated. He's not overhyped. I think he's a great football player. Okay.